In this video, I'm going to talk about some synastry aspects and overlays that can create that feeling of being just best friends for life. Okay, so the first one that I'll mention is maybe sort of obvious, but it is house overlays in the 11th house. So when someone's planets are falling into your 11th house or yours are falling into their 11th house, this creates a really open feeling of friendship where you can really just be yourself with each other, and there's like a light-hearted, friendly, open-hearted quality where you also don't demand or expect much from the other, and you're more forgiving and open to their whatever eccentric qualities they may have. So obviously this is really helpful for a friendship and for a feeling of being best friends. The other house overlay that I'll mention is actually the fourth house. So when someone's planets are falling into your fourth house or your planets are falling into their fourth house, this creates a very deeply bonded emotional energy exchange, because the fourth house is like the roots of our chart. It's the deepest inner self part of us. So when someone is activating that for us, we feel very deeply bonded with them. We feel very emotionally open and connected, and almost like a familial vibe. So it can really create a long-lasting friendship. My best friend since kindergarten, she has her moon in my fourth house, and there's really that emotionally bonded energy with the fourth house placements. And there are other house overlays that are really, really good for friendship, but I'll just mention those two for now because I feel like those are probably the strongest for that feeling of best friends. So the next thing that I'll mention is Jupiter. So Jupiter aspects in the synastry between partners, especially by conjunction, really lends a strong, open-hearted, buoyant energy. So when we're having strong Jupiter contacts in synastry, so someone's Jupiter is conjunct one of our personal planets or the ascendant, or vice versa, or even Jupiter conjunct with the north or south node, this is really, really good for a feeling of love and joy and happiness. A big part of Jupiter that is often overlooked is that it really is a joyful part of us. It is something that when we tap into that energy, we feel just so happy and so generous and giving and extravagant. So when there's lots of Jupiter contacts between partners and between friends, we feel really open with them, we feel really natural with them, and we feel confident and like a better version of ourselves. So when there's a lot of Jupiter stuff going on, it's not an overly like emotional connection, but it's a very happy one, which can lend a lot to having a friend for life when you feel just genuinely happy and like you can be yourself. And like there's also the motivational aspect of Jupiter, where when we're experiencing strong conjunctions with Jupiter in synastry, we feel like a better version of ourselves. We sometimes too much so. Sometimes you got that best friend where you're giving them advice and you're like, yeah girl, go ahead and do it, you're great at it. Maybe they aren't. Maybe we need some Saturn to really balance that overzealous energy. But for the most part, it's just going to feel really good to be connected with people when there's strong Jupiter conjunctions. And of course, the trine and sextile aspect and even the square aspect with Jupiter and the opposition are all very good as well. The only danger with a square and opposition and even the conjunction at times is that, you're motivating each other too much, and maybe you're seeing the person in a more positive light than they really are, which can be beneficial, but we also got to balance it with some Saturn, right? And Saturn is really good for a long-lasting, long-term friendship as well. It may not feel like that joyful best friend quality, but Saturn aspects will show that the friendship lasts. And that's something too, looking at the composite chart to see the type of energy that the people become together. A good composite chart with beneficial aspects will really help a friendship last. Also, maybe with some positive Saturn aspects, that's something that can really help people stay friends for a lifetime, is a positive or beneficial composite chart. And of course, it's different than with a romantic relationship. There can be stressful aspects in a friendship relationship that actually it's easier to bring out the positives of the difficult aspects when it's just a friendship as well, because you're not demanding so much emotional closeness, or it's just a different kind of relationship. So positive aspects in the composite chart can really lend a helping hand, but also difficult ones are easier to manage in a friendship. So this is already getting long. There's some aspects for best friends. Oh, one last thing I will mention, positive Mercury connections. When we have positive Mercury connections with our friends, we can communicate, we can talk. Mercury is a fave of mine when you have positive Mercury aspects, when you have Mercury trine Mercury, Mercury conjunct Mercury, Mercury sextile Mercury. That's really good to have for friendships. But even just your Mercury is making some trine or some conjunction or some sextile with another person's planet, that means that you can express yourself, you can communicate. And of course, communication is excellent for friendships and being best friends with someone. Ideally you can communicate, right? Hope this was helpful. There's just a few. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.